Think about your last workout. Maybe you drove to a specialized building, scanned a badge, and spent an hour lifting heavy pieces of iron or running on a motorized rubber belt that stays in one place. To almost any human who lived before the 20th century, this behavior would look like absolute madness. Why would anyone willingly expend precious energy moving heavy objects just to put them back down? For millions of modern people, though, this isn't madness, it's a health requirement. Without those structured hours of sweating in a climate-controlled room, our bodies begin to fail us. Our muscles weaken, our joints stiffen, our hearts become less efficient, and our metabolic health declines. So here's the question: did ancient humans deal with this? Were hunter-gatherers worried about their cardio? Were they squinting at their reflection in a river wishing they had stronger core muscles, or suffering from lower back pain because they hadn't done enough stretches? Or is something else going on here? Something that has almost nothing to do with genetics and almost everything to do with how our daily lives have changed. Let's ask the stranger question. Not why do we need to exercise, but why did fitness become something we have to deliberately schedule and pay for in such a short slice of human history? Structured exercise spaces aren't entirely new. The ancient Greeks had gymnasiums, but those were highly specialized institutions for soldiers and athletes preparing for competition. For the vast majority of human history, the idea of working out simply didn't exist because everyday life was the workout. What's happened in the last few generations is a completely different phenomenon. Physical inactivity has skyrocketed, and with it, metabolic diseases that used to be rare. Today, we treat exercise as a medical prescription. That's not how human biology was designed to work. Our genes didn't suddenly decide to make us sedentary and weak over the last 50 years. Something in our daily environment changed, and it changed incredibly fast. Researchers who study this call it a mismatch. Your muscles, bones, and cardiovascular system were not built for the sedentary world you currently navigate. Here is the actual biological mechanism. Your body is an incredibly efficient survival machine. In the wild, energy, calories, was hard to come by. To survive, the human body evolved to be highly conservative with its resources. Muscle tissue, while useful, is metabolically expensive. It takes a lot of calories just to maintain muscle, even when you're resting. Because of this, your body operates on a strict use it or lose it policy. When you put physical demands on your body, climbing, carrying, walking long distances, it receives a signal that this muscle and cardiovascular capacity is necessary for survival, so it invests the energy to build and maintain it. But when you sit in a chair for 8 to 10 hours a day, those signals disappear. Your body, trying to be efficient, assumes this expensive muscle tissue and high aerobic capacity are no longer needed. It quietly begins to down-regulate them, reducing muscle mass, decreasing bone density, and slowing down metabolic processes like insulin sensitivity to save energy. The modern fitness crisis isn't a failure of our biology. It's our body doing exactly what it evolved to do: conserve energy when it thinks we don't need to move. There's also the question of how we move. Modern fitness is often highly compressed. We sit all day, then try to make up for it with 1 hour of intense, punishing exercise at the gym. But researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups, like the Hadza of East Africa, have found a very different pattern. These populations don't exercise in the modern sense. They don't go for runs or lift weights. Yet they possess exceptional cardiovascular health and lean muscle mass. Their secret isn't intensity, it's constant, low-level physical activity. Throughout a normal day, an ancient human was walking, bending, squatting, digging, lifting children, and carrying water. They spent hours in active, upright postures. Their bodies received a gentle, continuous stream of mechanical signals telling their muscles and bones to stay strong and healthy. But here's where we have to slow down, because it would be a mistake to oversimplify this. It's easy to romanticize the past and imagine ancient humans as perfectly sculpted, painless athletes. They weren't. Anthropologists studying ancient skeletal remains find plenty of evidence of physical suffering. They had osteoarthritis, joint degeneration from carrying heavy loads over long distances, and wear and tear injuries that never healed properly. Life was physically brutal, and genetics still played a massive role in how individuals built muscle, stored fat, and responded to physical stress. Some ancient humans were undoubtedly naturally stronger or faster than others, and many likely lived with chronic physical pain that we can easily treat today. What seems to have been rare, though, is the specific modern pattern of metabolic decay, the widespread loss of basic physical capability, cardiovascular weakness, and metabolic dysfunction in early adulthood. That is the piece that lines up tightly with industrialization, labor-saving technologies, and a sedentary workforce. This shift matches our history perfectly. For most of human history, labor was physical. Then came the agricultural revolution, which shifted hunting to farming, but still required intense manual labor. Then came the Industrial Revolution, replacing muscle power with machines. Finally, the digital age arrived, putting the vast majority of our work behind desks and screens. With each shift, we pulled human movement out of the daily routine. We built cars to replace walking, elevators to replace stairs, and washing machines to replace manual scrubbing. We successfully engineered physical effort out of our lives, and then had to invent the gym to artificially inject it back in. So imagine an early human at, say, 18 years old. Their days are spent walking miles over rough terrain, carrying firewood, digging up tubers, and climbing trees for honey. Their body is constantly calibrating its muscles, bones, and metabolism around a world that demands movement for survival. Now imagine an 18-year-old today. They sit in a classroom, sit on a bus, sit at a desk for homework, and sit to relax with entertainment. Their body calibrates to this lack of demand, conserving energy by letting muscles soften and cardiovascular capacity shrink. Neither body is broken. They are both responding with biological accuracy to the physical demands of their environments. It's just that the modern environment is one our bodies were never designed to inhabit. Ancient humans didn't have better bodies than we do. They had a world that required them to move. Their physical health was a byproduct of survival, not a scheduled task on a calendar. Our gym memberships, our running shoes, and our fitness trackers are all attempts to rebuild a habitat our bodies evolved to need, but our modern world no longer provides. If this is the first time you've thought about your own fitness or your desk job this way, drop a comment and let me know. Does it change how you look at your next workout or how you think about the hours you spend sitting every day?